All right, folks, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Monday, November 13th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Great to see all of our students and members and all of us on social media as well alike. Great to have Lewis and Rod at least with us here inside our live trading room, joining them Kathleen from just before at least, and Michael joining us now. So, hey, for all of us that can hear me loud and clear, just give me a quick chat back. Should be good to go. There we go. From Lewis, Jeff, Mark, Brad. There we go. Brad, not just the member inside our live trading room, might I say, but he follows us on Twitter at CyberTradingU. If you are there, if you're on YouTube or Instagram, Twitter, all of our social media platforms and streams as well, welcome on back as well. So, hey, Mark has been pushing on up today, still trying to make another squeeze up higher, at least heading into the afternoon. We have Tesla on the chart right now. That's obviously moving pretty nicely here. This was pushing up pretty nicely in pre-market as well. And then there was some funny business with there being an iceberg on the ask. It pushed the stock down. As you could see at the open, well, it dropped off. It pulled back lower and made that infamous slingshot move. From there, ended up taking off. So this has been a nice trade to us all throughout the day today. Tesla and hey, you could trade the option calls on it like I do, or otherwise. Oh boy, I left a lot of money on the table with what I did earlier today, though. So it was a nice trade for myself earlier, but man, take the money and run, like we say, right? Hey, what time do stocks normally reverse? 10:30, right? Well, hey, you ended up leaving a lot of money on the table. You could have jumped back in perhaps, but I was more focused on the SPY and AMD from there. AMD didn't work out, but the SPY did. So, hey, Tesla is still looking strong heading into this afternoon. We're going to add this to our watch list. We're going to also add the ETF. Hey, if you don't trade options, okay. You could trade the ETF here. Remember, TSLL, a lot cheaper, or at least a lot cheaper compared to the equity. And with that, if you have Bookmap, if you have level 4, then look to trade this as you normally would. Use all the tools and columns and all the little parts of the heat map that you can use to your arsenal. But TSLA, Tesla, and TSLL, the ETF here, we'll definitely put on our list here to begin. Now, Chuck says just before in the chat here, you is pushing. You or me, Chuck? That's my joke of the day. All right, so Chuck's saying, though, trying to go radioactive. Ooh. All right, I had no joke here. I was actually just listening to that song. Was that from Imagine Dragons, the band? Now, with that there, pushed up pretty nicely from the morning. The stock came off good earnings, I think, from last week. And on top of that, as we remember from earlier this year, they're the company that came out the news with Apple and the VR headset. So with saying that, healthy company perhaps, up 4+%, nearly 5% at that. And, hey, good volume, right? More of a level 3 stock. So the more expensive this gets, keep in mind, this is going to thin out a lot more. You can see the spread open up. You'll probably hear me not put this on our watch list. Well, that's for future speak. Today, we definitely are. It's a nice trade, Chuck. A really good call and good reminder. Yeah, you put this on our list. So how about this? We'll go from top to bottom. We got a 300% gainer here today, but again, just to be transparent, shoot straight. Like, we don't really trade these penny stocks. So what is this? TENX? This thing gapped up and popped up once the market opened up at least. Or no, yeah, pretty much for the most part. I mean, 8:30 at least it broke out. Then from there, 9:30 broke higher. So from that point, beautiful move, but we don't really trade these stocks below $1. If it's really to the point where it's testing that $1 threshold, we'll likely follow it. But we didn't really focus on this really too much today, just to be honest here. So we're going to pass on here for this afternoon. If you trade the less expensive stocks, if you're on a tighter budget, perhaps it could still be up your alley, but I'm going to kind of see what else is out there first. All right, now, TIVC, this is trying to push back up right now on us. It's actually looking pretty sharp here. Nice little bounce to begin. Seemingly from 180, 185, but you'd assume 2 to be the larger whole number support to work off of, at least just before it held it as support here or around it. Now the VWAP is your next big resistance, and this is nowhere near out of the weeds or out of the doghouse just yet. If you're looking for that big push that it should have made perhaps earlier in pre-market, had a nice pop at 7 o'clock here, then ended up just getting really choppy trade from that point, tanked at the open. You can't really expect anything from that point afterwards. So once you happen to see a stock just be this choppy and flat here, you really don't want to give it too much more attention. With saying that, it's been a nice little squeeze here thus far. I'll definitely come back to this just at the end of this meeting. I'm running my list off my notes app again. on my phone. Not good. I got to get back to my classic notepad, nice classic pen. But yeah, the TIVC, I'll put on our proverbial side list, come back to this just at the end of it all. I feel like this is going to hold a VWAP and then just tank. That's my prediction. So we'll come back to this at the end. I'll be happy to be wrong. EVA, wow, this was a really great trade from earlier today. Fausto had been pretty head on about this one after 10 o'clock at least. We were kind of scrounging for, at least another stock or two to look to follow, something at the highs, kind of like what we do right now. And we were doing that earlier at 10 o'clock during our broadcast. It was a nice trade. Hey, pushed up all the way up to 170. So if you were watching this throughout the day, if you're at your desk, then it benefited you the most. If you stepped away at 10:30, then obviously you left a lot on the table, much like I did on Tesla earlier. But yeah, here for the afternoon, looks a lot more flat now. It looks like it tried to make a move up towards the high that actually, Rich, you called this out earlier. I know that we were talking about this as much in the broadcast. How about this? I think that, was it 161, Rich? I'm very certain that Rich had wrote that in the chat board earlier. What was the price? 164. So if you look up earlier in the chat board, folks, just kind of search like kind of just EVA or looking from earlier. Actually, at 10:14, Rich wrote this as we were asking what that high was. So 164. What's interesting about this is moved pretty much right up there, head on, and pulled back. So I don't know if that was exactly 164. It was higher. So that indicates a false breakout. Popped over it, pulled back very quickly under it. You'd want to see higher lows, higher high over time, but obviously really didn't get that. Ended up just dragging down and down, down, now flat. So yeah, I'm going to pass on this EVA here. I guess if you want me to put this on our side list, if you really want me to come back to that at the end, I guess I will, but let's see what else we got. Bunch of low float, low volume stocks normally here. INVO has been all over the map of late. Popped up for us like a few weeks ago, pulled back. Back Friday last week, had another pop and drop day, and looks like an inside candle. No, not really an inside candle today, but still kind of within the lows and highs of Friday's move. And now as I'm talking, there we go, being a little bit more decisive here, perhaps beginning to pull back below the VWAP. This might kind of allow us to move away from this trade now. Not looking too nice here. DRCT, same thing, and we keep it moving. So I just skipped over one kind of quickly there. The volume is probably pretty light, volume traded minute to minute, but the CDLX trade, this is the one that got clobbered a few days ago or a couple days back. Yeah, so a little recovery here. It's at the highs, but we say this all the time on stocks that are coming off bad news, right? It's not really like a great opportunity to day trade up and up and up. You can't always expect the gap fill. For a stock like AMC from last week, remember, came off bad earnings, bad news. They had to squeeze at the open at 9:30, not right now, but earlier in the that morning it was here. Fausto called out a great trade. It was a nice pop at the time, but then dropped back down. All right, so what else we got? AAOI. This one actually I'm pretty familiar with myself. Not really trading as much volume per minute. I could just kind of tell that there from my bars, but yeah, I guess it's at the highs. It doesn't hurt us to at least add this to the side list, come back to it at the end. Got to really cherry pick on an afternoon like this because, hey, we got the CPI report coming out tomorrow. We got some retail stuff coming out this week, earnings and data, and I'm sure there's going to be some more anticipation before those numbers come out. So for as volatile of a day as we've had today, actually, it was pretty surprising heading into this afternoon. Market pushed back up and, made a strong slingshot. So there could be more to come there, but I'm not expecting at a really strong pace. Kind of a slower afternoon, perhaps, here. All right, so I think that might just about wrap it up here on the gainer side. Really, there wasn't much else that looked great on the way up here. Maybe there's something like down or something up like 5% or something of that nature. So let me know if there's anything else looking good, folks. Just going to take a quick look here on my losers list. I got to just reset my actual losers list here. This is the CTU losers list, the custom built one. So I'm just going to skim through this here rather fast. M, Y, and Z. You know what? This actually this didn't put one stock in particular on there though, right? I think it was ACRS, was it? Yeah. All right. So Really quick, take a look at this thing. So ACRS is down 86%. Just goes to show that for stock down as much as this is, doesn't guarantee a dead cat bounce, right? Doesn't guarantee that, little short squeeze on the way up, little scalp opportunity. Hey, maybe it could happen some point this afternoon. Don't hold your breath. If it's not today, who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Don't guarantee it there either. But hey, for right now, it's just to say if it's not really trending too well for us right here, then we don't really have much business with it, right? Looking at it the last 30 or so minutes, hasn't really done a whole lot. I'm going to pass on it for right now. Verve, VERV. Now, this stock is actually down enough to where, and it was down more percentage-wise from earlier, to where you can, look for that, so to say, dead cat bounce there too, and, pushed up nicely at first. But even this, I feel like the squeeze is pretty much over. If you get more out of it after 3 o'clock or 3:15 when Rich is on the mic, then, see what it could do then. I'm not really too interested in it here, though, at least just yet. Fun stock, either not really, that hasn't bounced yet, or a stock that's at the lows that's shortable that, could be a pretty good opportunity on the way down. It's pretty much what we're looking for here. Honestly, a lot of these small cap stocks I could just tell are hard to borrow. So I'm going to skip over a good chunk of this, really. There we go. Just to kind of look at the price column there briefly. So WWW, I don't think this is trading good volume either. I'm just down 7+, and not too much out here on the loser side, folks. That's kind of expected with how the market was moving beforehand. So if there's anything else looking good, let me know. Mara, side list, it's actually pushing out a tiny bit up, but that's tiny. We're not really trying to make tiny money. So pass on that. Coinbase, this was actually a really interesting setup from earlier today. It just didn't work out. Right place, wrong time. Maybe right place, right time tomorrow. It's just got a ways to go to even get back up to that right place from here. So that's basically at $93. Just had the false breakout before heading into the early afternoon. Again, not really going to be too focused on Coinbase for this afternoon. Check in with it tomorrow, though, coming off the CPI report. AMD was a slug today. This went nowhere, for as much as it pumped up the last few days, last week. It's to be expected, but I was looking for that pop higher from 17 earlier. And, I was on a call with one of our new gold students earlier, and I really wanted to drive the point home of, like, we're not perfect. And I don't mean that in just like the trades that Fausto and Josh take here, but we're just saying in the call outs as well. We can't predict the weather 100% every single time. If anyone says that they can, please show me. I'd love to see it. Our whole philosophy is to follow what happens more often than not. And what I mean by this is, and again, we'll do this tomorrow in Traders Talk, but if it's not going to make that big move that you're looking for on the way up, guess where it's going? Guess where it's going? It's not just going to stall out in a flat line forever. So I was looking for that hold off of support at 117. Didn't get it. It was trying, but it failed to break higher. And then from there, on the way back down. So you got to make sure you play tight defense on any trade. But, it just goes to show. It's like, hey, if you follow basketball, your favorite basketball player is going to miss a 3-point shot or miss a 2-point shot every now and then. They're going to lose a game every now and then. So you're not going to be perfect. I just want to reiterate that for any new member joining us, because, hey, when you're trading on your own, you're going to be taking losses on your own. It's normal. It's okay. As long as we have tight defense and know what to expect if it doesn't make that decisive reactionary move that we're looking for, it's going to make a decisive reactionary move the other way. All right, so let me know if there's anything else, folks, looking good. Sam looking at IONQ. Yeah, it was up actually nice earlier today. I got to put this back in my arsenal. It is, but I just haven't really put much focus on it today. And it came off earnings last week too. So IONQ looks like it's like slowed down a little bit, Sam, but otherwise there's nothing wrong with following the stock. Like if you did well earlier on the stock and picked up like 20, 30 cents or even more, perhaps it made a great move, then I'm sure that you're going to be more inclined to follow it, and with good reason. Probably say the same on a stock like PLTR. PLTR looking a little healthier on the daily chart, perhaps, but made a nice little move earlier today. It's just kind of pulled back now. a lot of trades will kind of look like this. So, nothing wrong with them. Just I don't really see as great opportunity just yet. So if you do well on them day to day, then definitely put them on your personal watch list. Going back to Frey, Frey. I don't know if I even put as much focus on this trade from earlier. This one we were talking about earlier in the morning, but not as heavy as we were like EVA with that gap fill. This one dropped off a few days over the end of last week. It's trying to get back up to the highs right now. I mean, it's got a decent spread. It's got really good volume on the book. I'm going to put this on our list, but this is just more to say it's very low risk. And we're not going to trade this stock tomorrow likely, or, we're not trading this day to day like we would IONQ or like we would PLTR. So, this is coming off some sort of news for it to be up like 23% or 21%. And with that, perhaps there could be like one more push up towards 2 and to make like 18, 17 cents on a $1.80 stock. Like that's good opportunity to me. You know what I mean? So, for today, I'll add this to our afternoon list and see where I can go. All right, so let me know, folks, up, down, left, right, more than anything 5% here. Robert, trying to be the teacher's pet here on YouTube. Aha, I caught his comment beforehand. Robert, my friend, thank you very much for the kind comment there. Perhaps you may have meant that for Fausto, but if you meant that for old Josh here, I appreciate you, my friend. All right, for Sam, Abdul, Chuck, Rod, Kath, or anyone else inside our chat board right now, again, last call, let me know. Is anything else looking good? We only got a few stocks on our watch list here, and that's fine by me. I always say the difference or a difference between myself and Fausto is Fausto 99% of the time, or how do I phrase this best? Fausto, much better than myself, keeps it simple. It's very rare to see Fausto pump out like a 12, 13 stock watch list. There you go. Josh here. Yeah, I can do that at times. So for today, we got a nice short watch list here. Going back to the TIVC trade, this was the only stock I think I said I was going to come back to, maybe the EVA as well, but this clearly not looking good. I told you this was more likely to hold off resistance at 220, 221. I was correct in this scenario. And even if I was wrong, I would certainly be happy to be wrong. But clearly this is not making that big push just yet. We're going to pass on it. This one we're going to pass on too. All right, so folks, hey, almost dropped my phone there. Like I said, we got the CPI report coming out tomorrow. We got retail numbers coming out Wednesday, I believe, and earnings coming out throughout the week, like Walmart, Target, Macy's, bunch of retail as well on top. So there's going to be some hesitation, at least heading into this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning in pre-market. Again, CPI report will be out, I believe, at 8:30 Eastern tomorrow morning in pre-market. So there could be a really nice reaction, especially with how we've had the market push up of late. But I'm not personally gambling with a swing trade. Fausto is very headstrong about that heading into the end of the audio that we were doing this morning for all of us inside our live trading room, saying, this is one of the harder times of the year to be swing trading and holding on to trades. He's in cash, he was saying. So I'm sure he's going to make that more, more publicized and known tomorrow morning when he does the meeting. But with that said, though, I mean, we'll see what comes out tomorrow morning. Even if there's a big dip down, that could be a great buying opportunity, perhaps over time. But I think it could just be very risky to hold into the CPI report. If the markets pop off the CPI, then all right, perfect. Then I'll react off it and then look to day trade from there. But if we get a big drop coming off the CPI numbers, the inflation report tomorrow morning, then hey, that could be a great discount in the market to pick up a swing trade or two from that point, to jump into at least one or two things from there. So we'll see what's out for tomorrow. All right, folks. So hey, best of luck trading heading into this afternoon, at least. From Graham, one of our new members here. So Fausto will be back tomorrow, Graham. Tomorrow morning, he does the morning meeting and, obviously the morning audio that we typically do each and every day. So ask him about Costco. I'll tell you what, I went to Aldi yesterday. I live in Florida. So I've been a big Publix guy since I moved down here. Decent food, decent quality, but boy, it's getting pretty expensive. The cost of ground beef is getting pretty expensive. Oh my goodness. So I ended up bailing on Publix actually mid-run, and then I went to Aldi. Everyone go to Aldi. If you have an Aldi near you, go to Aldi. Oh my God, Mark. Oh my goodness. Got like 93.7 beef at like $4.99 a pound. I'm eating like a king for cheap. And it's good. All right. So back to Costco on the other hand. So Costco, obviously very expensive, but if you have swing trade on them or long-term position, obviously they're looking pretty strong here of late. So not much more I could say on that, really, Graham. With that, we don't really day trade a stock this expensive. If you do the options on that, obviously that'll be a lot cheaper than trading the equity. But looking long term wise, looking really strong with this trend up off the lows. That's really it there. Damon, one of our new trial members, and keep in mind, really quick, for new members joining us here tomorrow morning, make sure that you are here. Tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time, I'll be doing our weekly Q&A workshop, Traders Talk. So for Graham or Damon or any of our new trial members joining us throughout this week, any questions or trades that you want me to go over, especially with our level 4 program here, especially with Bookmap, let me know here, and then we'll have a chance tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern to cover it all. All right. So with that, Damon saying picked up some NIR. He's up some money. It's like as we nickname it, a penny stock. I don't even know if it's OTC or NASDAQ or not, but I assume this is NASDAQ, right? Interesting. It doesn't really show right there. Oh, right here, NASDAQ. It says right there on the 1 minute. This is a really cheap stock. Had a nice candle a few days ago or a couple days back. Maybe it could pump back up at least over time. Getting a ping really quick, folks. So I'm going a little over here. I got Rich coming on in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to finish up in just 1 or so seconds from right now. But last couple of things. Mike commenting on you with a big shake back down, back inside the range that it was underneath earlier. So I'm going to keep this on our list. But obviously, if this fails to get out of this range that it was just under the previous resistance, then it could be a good short, right? Could be a good short from there, Mike, right? So, hey, best of luck trading heading into the market close, folks. I'll be in the chat up until 3:30.